Welcome, everybody, to episode 80 of Films and Fermentation. That's right, episode 80. Tonight, we're doing a review of Werewolf by Night, the special Disney Plus MCU presentation. Welcome again to Films and Fermentation. We are a movie and alcohol podcast. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
We're just three friends who like to talk shit about movies while getting shit-faced. In this episode, we take a closer look at the MCU Disney Plus special presentation, Werewolf by Night. We're going to give our honest opinions, talk some favorite scenes, speculate where it fits in the phases of the MCU, and finally look at where Marvel is going from here. Don't forget to drop us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation to find all of our social media and podcast links. We're on Spotify, Good Pods, Apple Pods, Amazon Music, you name it, we're probably there. This episode is brought to you by Dubby All Natural Energy Drink. Dubby is an all-natural energy drink. It uses a patented all-natural coffee cherry extract to help fuel you. This ingredient is what gives Dubby its laser focus and fast reflexes, making it perfect for gamers everywhere. Dubby contains important aminos and vitamins that canned energy drinks simply don't have. I almost went British there and said vitamins. Dubby never uses fillers or artificial colors. It's a sugar-free and keto-friendly alternative energy drink. Choose from flavors such as Dragonade, Beach and Peach, and Galaxy Grenade. Guaranteed to boost energy without giving you the jitters. Go to dubby.gg to order today. Use the promo code FILMSFERMENT, that's FILMSFERMENT, and receive 10% off of your order every time. Dubby, be better.
Dubby!
.gg. So speaking of drinks, gentlemen, what are we drinking this evening on this alcohol podcast?
Well, tonight I'm starting with one of the beers I brought back from Alexandria, Virginia. And this is How Now Brown Cow Milk Stout brewed with pumpkin spices.
Wow.
From Aslan Brewing Company.
A lot of that doesn't sound like you.
No, but I needed to try it. And I have some for you guys. Don't worry.
Cool. Kev, what you got going on?
I took a trip to a new beer distributor. Well, it's actually wine. It's an all-in-one alcohol place around the corner from me. I was looking for this in particular. They had it, so I'm happy I was able to find it. This is Elysian. Is that how you pronounce that?
Elysian, something like
Elysian.
that.
Yeah. Dark of the Moon. I figured there was one that was werewolf themed. Dark of the Moon Pumpkin Stout. Elysian is out of Seattle, Washington, so it's a cross-continental beer. Let's see, Dark of the Moon Pumpkin Stout. Dark of the Moon Pumpkin Stout is spooky smooth and chocolatey with a touch of cinnamon. It is 7.5% alcohol by volume. So this is where I'm starting tonight, gentlemen.
Sounds good. I also went on an adventure shopping for some new alcohol because, like you, my fridge was getting kind of thin.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted that pumpkin ale from Sam Adams that you were drinking.
Oh, yeah.
And the place I went to, there's a place by me called Byright, and they didn't have it. I couldn't find the seasonal pack. All they had was the Boston Lager. So I just walked around the store and picked up a few things that sparked my interest. So I have my first beer tonight is from Yards. It's called Unterdog. It is their Oktoberfest.
Okay.
And it's very good. It's a very, very good Oktoberfest. And then I have a second drink from I forgot the brewery already, but it's a pumpkin ale. It's from another local brewery. I'll have to mention what it is when I get to that drink.
Okay.
I also have a 4-pack of mixed beers that I made for myself. I don't, think I'm going to get to that tonight. And then for next week's episode, since we're doing the special Halloween episode, I have a very special drink for that episode. I'll tell you guys about off air.
Okay.
I am slowly working my way through what we need to do for next week. So I've got another one under my belt. I think there's maybe one or two more I want to try to catch.
Okay. What are we doing next week?
So next week is the Universal Movie Monsters. We're going to do a little background on it. We're going to do our recasting if we were to do a modern day Dark Universe. And the guys from Recast 2.0 are supposed to be joining us next week. And hopefully that's still.
Did you guys get that Facebook post about the Dark Universe that I sent you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise ruined it.
Yeah. Pretty much.
That's probably going to be part of the history lesson next week. So, so I don't want to get too
No,
much
I do
into
have
that,
to say I rewatched The Mummy with Brendan Fraser, and I remember how much I enjoy that movie.
It is a very good one, and it's that's where the Dark Universe should have started.
Yes.
Mike, you have any history lessons for us this evening?
This day in film history. This day, something's not right.
I think you hit the
Toss him down a well. Toss him down a well.
This day
Mikey fall down
in
the well?
film history.
That's more like it.
Did Mikey fall down the well? Did he? Did he? Not yet. Push him.
Girl.
I had a button pushed I didn't need to have pushed. A 1961 film adaptation of the 1957 Broadway musical West Side Story, directed by Robert Weiss and Jerome Robbins, starring Natalie Wood, debuted and won the Academy Award for Best Picture in 1962.
Deserving of Best Picture award. I enjoyed the Steven Spielberg remake of it, but still prefer the original.
Okay.
If I had my choice. It's a classic. I can't say anything bad about the original, movie version. So, and it's based on a Broadway musical that was based on a novel, and the novel
that was based off of a Shakespeare play.
It was based off of Romeo and Juliet. That's right. One of the interesting facts I like about this is everybody in the movie sang their parts except for Natalie Wood.
Really?
Yeah, her part was dubbed over.
Oh, about that.
Which is one of the reasons why she didn't receive a nomination for Best Actress.
So now I question: did she sing her own parts for Gypsy?
That I can't tell you. I don't know.
Damn
it. What's your fun drink fact this evening, Mike?
My fun drink fact is a beer trivia for you boys. Brown porter was consumed in large quantities by the London working class in the 1700s. So popular was the beverage that up until the 1800s, brewing companies matured the beer in giant wooden vats holding several hundred barrels each. The London beer flood of October 17th, 1841 occurred when one of the 22-foot-tall vats burst, killing at least 8 people.
Those 8 people drowned trying to drink the beer as it was running down the street.
Exactly.
Tough man. Oh no.
One of them, I think, was a Tustin.
Tough man.
That would make sense. That's the way we want to go.
I would definitely want to go that way. I would have done my part to help out.
With a carbonated stomach of glory.
We have a beer flood. We need volunteers. I'm here.
I'm here.
Notes from last show. So we unfortunately do not have a synopsis from Glip. For some reason, the synopsis got erased. I don't know why. All I remember from the synopsis was one phrase, and that was the benefits of Michelle Pfeiffer.
Of which there are many.
And I think it was when we were talking about Wolf with Jack Nicholson.
Right.
And I said the only benefit to watching that film was Michelle Pfeiffer. So I'm pretty sure that's where it came from. When we were talking about Forrest Gump last week, we kept referring to Andrew Johnson as president. It was Lyndon B. Johnson who was president in 1964.
Yeah, the other Johnson was well before his time.
Well before Lyndon B.
Just a little bit.
And I remember who the other celebrity was that he meets in that movie that we couldn't remember. It was Elvis.
Yes, it was.
Yes, he teaches Elvis how to do the hip thing, I was curious about the Oscars because we couldn't figure out which year Schindler's List and Forrest Gump won. So I had to look it up because it was bothering me. And Schindler's List came out in 93, but was still on the box office list in 94 and won the Oscar in 1994 for Best Picture. Forrest Gump came out in 94, but was still on the box office in 95 and won in 95, beating out Shawshank Redemption and Pulp Fiction for Best Picture. Two travesties right there. I think both of those should have been Best Picture over Forrest Gump.
Well, what order would you have put them in? Shawshank, then Pulp, then Forrest Gump?
Believe it or not, even though Shawshank is one of my favorite movies of all time, I think I would have given the Best Picture to Pulp Fiction.
Surprising, but good.
Well, it was the most original film that year. I thought had an interesting way of telling the story. It was Quentin Tarantino at his finest. Had a resurgence for John Travolta. Had a great performance by all the other actors in the film. I mean, overall, it was a really like a masterpiece of filmmaking. As much as I like Shawshank, Shawshank wasn't nearly the box office success that Pulp Fiction was that year. So
no, I think the movie also made a ton of money off of the soundtrack too, because that was all over the radio that year.
I owned the soundtrack.
Yeah, so do I.
I got it from Columbia Records. I think it was my month.
I paid a penny.
I think it was my monthly penny deal. Yeah. Kids, back in the day, we used to listen to CDs.
That stands for compact disc.
Yes.
I listened to tapes.
I listened to I had an 8-track.
Yeah. Vinyl.
The vinyl 8-track. I liked Kevin's format idea from last week. So if we do another This Year in Film History episode later on, I think we should stick to doing like either talking about the first like 10 to 15 or so, and then picking out our favorite each from the next 10, because I felt like it went quicker that way, and it was a lot more fun that way.
Yeah,
instead of sitting there and trying to talk about films that we didn't even know about,
You can scan them and be like, "Why? I found one or two that I really like from that, that bracket."
Yeah. And then Mike, you have a correction from last week?
Yeah, because I re-listened to the episode, and you guys were saying how Zima was the big popular drink in the 90s.
Okay.
You guys weren't drinking because you're underage. I was.
No, we were not. Wink, wink.
I was.
Yes.
In 94, I was in Germany. And
that's because you're 15 years older than both of us.
No, I'm not. No. In 94, I was in Germany. 19 years old, and the drinking age in Germany for service members were 18. So I was legally drinking in Germany.
Okay.
Because my peeps over from Germany will call me out on it.
Peeps from Germany. The less than 1% that listen to us.
No, I'm talking about the service members all across the country that knew me when I was in Germany.
All right. So I have some new Good Pods ranking stuff to go over. Cool. So this week on Good Pods, we are number 9 out of the top 100 film review indie shows.
Moved up a spot.
Did you say number 9? We're in the single digits.
Number 9. On the regular film review podcast list, we are also number 9.
Nice.
On the all TV and film podcast list, we are number 17 in the indie category and number 17 in the regular all TV and film category. So we kind of are staying even on both indie and regular.
Yep.
This is a great one. I can't believe this. So top 100 shows, regardless of genre, this is just the top 100 shows on Good Pods. This morning when I looked at this, which was around 5:30 a.m. or whatever time I woke up, we were ranked 96 out of the top 100 shows on the regular list, not the indie list. So that's the first time we cracked the regular list. So number 96, 6:30 this morning. As of 6:30 p.m., we moved up to 61.
Wow.
Wow.
So in 12 hours, we jumped 30 spots.
That's impressive.
That is
we need more
impressive.
Advertisement.
Yeah, we
Yes,
need whoever's in our PR
we need
needs a raise.
We need some revenue.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And we made a new list this week. We are number 91 out of 100 of the top 100 most listened to episodes on Good Pods this week.
Wow.
So, I mean,
Wow.
91, it's low, but
Mm-hmm.
baby steps.
Well, we're on the list.
We're on the list.
We're on the list.
We're on the list. What's in the box?
What's in the box?
So, as always, I got to give some shout outs. Oh, our free meeting will be ending in 10 minutes. So much for the Zoom.
Son of a bitch.
So much for that.
Maybe it's only, unlimited during business hours,
During school hours.
school hours.
Son of a bitch.
All right, you got 10 minutes. Get these shout outs going.
We'll get the shout outs going and then we'll figure something out after that.
Mhm.
So, as always, I got to give a shout out to Austin Boyer at Wrestling World. He wrote on Twitter, got you guys, because he was listening to our episode at that point.
Mhm.
Recasted 2.0, who should be coming on next week. Bar
Nice.
Banter, as always, because they're always out there, like, giving us comments and listening to the show. The Rick and Morty unofficial podcast and Apathetic Enthusiasm podcast with Travis and Brandon. Mr. Gentleman podcast. 8750 with Yeti F. Space Castle podcast, who designed our logo. All Hallows Eve podcast. This is a new one for us.
Ooh. Nice.
They listened to the show. They said it was a great episode. And I listened to their latest episode. They cover a lot of like supernatural stuff. So
Mhm.
they did an episode about a haunted prison somewhere. I think it was in Kentucky. So I messaged them back and told them about Eastern State Penitentiary. I said that
Yeah.
I grew up not too far from there. So I told them maybe we can do an episode trade-off at some point later this year.
Yeah.
So they said, great episode, guys. Manic Pixie Weirdo podcast retweeted that tweet of great episode. Quad Pro Quo podcast, that's another new one. Visit Vegas Places, another new podcast that sent us some reviews this week. Today We Laughed and Learned is another new podcast that sent us some love this week. And they wrote, hey guys, great episode. A trip back in time. We rated, reviewed, and subscribed.
Nice. Thank you all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jalea podcast said great episode. And of course, there's always Donald at You, Me in a Movie.
The
No pizza.
pizza boy.
Thank you very much.
Any chance we could get a recasted 2.0 to bring us some pizza?
I'll talk to the guys on Twitter.
So I have a
They'll
shout out.
show up with meatloaf. It's a Thursday. It's a meatloaf night.
I have a shout out, gentlemen.
Okay.
For one of the brewing companies that I visited this last weekend. It's called Honor Brewing Company in Chantilly, Virginia. It is owned, up, and operated by veterans. So
Oh, cool.
Cool.
they do
Thank
free.
you.
They do shipping of their beers. Free shipping for all orders over $60.
Nice.
So
I was going to thank them in a couple of weeks, but I'll get it started early. Thank you. And thank you for your service. We
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
your service. Yeah. So Kev, why don't you do the Newsly ad read, and then we'll restart the recording.
You think I can get it in the next,
I hope you can get a 1 minute ad read in 6 minutes.
Okay. Newsly. Newsly is an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. It picks up the most trending articles on the web on topics you choose at any given moment and reads them to you in a natural human voice, like this one. For the first time ever, the entire web becomes listenable, all in one place. Follow any topic from sports, tech, business, science, even Bitcoin. It will find you the latest articles and read them to you aloud. And they have podcasts as well. Explore trending podcasts from over 80 countries. Our podcast is there too. Download and use Newsly for free now from www.newsly.me or from the link in the description, and use the promo code #AndFerment That's ANDFERMENT to receive a 1 month free premium subscription. Stop scrolling, start listening.
You were
Kevin,
really
I have
you
a
were
question for
milking
Kevin
that 6
first.
minutes, man.
Kevin, I have a question about Newsly for you.
What's
So
up?
you're saying it's real live voices.
Not like
Well, they
this, right? Not like this.
No,
Not like this.
no,
Oh, maybe like that. I don't know.
But like this.
like that.
Okay.
No, not that one either.
Not like that.
No, none of that.
This
None
one?
of that.
Is this one
This-
better?
That's it.
That's the one. Okay.
That's when he was
They do it in celebrity impressions, right?
Nuschler.
I just want to make sure we gave the right thing. It wasn't any of those voices. It's real natural voices.
Today, October 20th.
From ABC News.
Wow. So we are back. It's our main segment. Our main segment this evening is a review of the MCU Disney Plus special presentation, Werewolf by Night.
Werewolf.
Their castle. I just rewatched it the other night. That's always a Halloween rewatch for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
always.
So I got a new beer for our main segment, and I said I couldn't remember the name of the brewery. It's Iron Hill Brewery.
Oh,
And
that's a
it's
tough one.
Iron Hill Pumpkin Ale. Iron Hill has breweries and restaurants in Exton, PA, Westchester, PA, Pensacola,
Maple
New Jersey, Maple Shade, New Jersey. They're all over the place. It's very good. It's got a little bit of that spice waver flavor to it, but not as prominent as that one that we had at the beer fest.
Okay.
I am looking, guys. I want you to keep an eye out because Conshohocken did it last year, and Megan and I looked it up this year, and they released it in late August, and now we can't find it again. But it's the Irving's spiced wafer flavored beer.
Oh yeah.
And I know that they were partnered with Acme, and Acme was supposed to be carrying that. We still have not found. It's very elusive. So, listeners, if you find it, if you know where to find it, shout out. You know, we'll get you, me, and a movie to buy you a pizza. Okay.
Poor Donald. He's gonna have like PTSD from dealing with us.
Just me.
Just you.
Just me.
All righty. So we are back with our main segment. We're talking about this weird little film that they decided to make for Disney Plus and MCU for Halloween, and it's only a 55-minute film.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a nice brisk watch. I actually watched it twice because I wanted to, be extra prepared for this evening. And I'll give you the IMDb synopsis. What do you got going now, Kev? Night
I'm
Owl.
switching over. Yes, I had the Elasian variety pack. This is their fall variety pack. This is Night Owl. It's a pumpkin ale. It is the original pumpkin ale brewed with pumpkin, roasted and raw pumpkin seeds, and spiced and conditioning with nutmeg, cloves, cinnamon, ginger, and allspice. And this bad boy is 6.7% alcohol by volume.
My pumpkin ale is only 5.5%. And
that's because you lack more pumpkin.
My Oktoberfest from earlier was 5.6.
Oh.
This pumpkin is 6%. So
all right. I don't think the pumpkin ones are usually very strong. So the IMDb synopsis for Werewolf by Night follows a lycanthrope superhero who fights evil using the abilities given to him by a curse brought on by his bloodline.
I thought he was a werewolf.
Thank you, IMDb.
yes, because I
It's
don't see any of that in the show.
well, lycanthrope is the fancy word for werewolf. I don't know. I don't know. That's why they call them lichens in that Kate Beckinsale movie.
What's that one called again?
Underworld.
Underwear.
Yeah, underwear. Leather-clad ass. That's what that's called.
Ooh.
Lycanthropy is the psychological term for people who think they're werewolves. So I don't know, like, why, like, aside from the fact that it's a brief, barely tells you anything synopsis, why they go with the word lycanthrope instead of werewolf? So here's the actual, like, full synopsis of the film. On a dark and somber night, a secret cabal of monster hunters emerge from the shadows and gather at the foreboding Bloodstone Temple, following the death of their leader. In a strange and macabre memorial to the leader's life, the attendees are thrust into a mysterious and deadly competition for a powerful relic, a hunt that will ultimately bring them face to face with a dangerous monster.
Nothing like a good cabal, even if they are secret.
I like a good cabal with a barbecue.
With a little bit of tomato on them. Maybe
No. I like a great cabal with a little bit of macabre.
Yeah, I like mine with a little mutton, a little, mutton, lettuce, and tomato, where the mutton is nice and lean. It's very perky. So what do you like? Let's talk about our opinions first. I didn't go into this with any expectations because I'm not familiar with the Werewolf by Night character in Marvel.
No.
And B, I was just, going into it expecting it to be just, a fun little film. And it was fun. It was interesting. I like how it was filmed sort of looking like the old Universal monster films.
White.
All black and white.
Even had the little white spots every so often.
Yeah, it had like little speckles showing up once in a while.
My favorite part of it being black and white was in the fight scene when the blood splashed against the camera lens.
Yeah.
And to my knowledge, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. What are you gonna say?
What I was going to say is, to my knowledge, it's the reason why it was able to be shown without a rating of like R or something was because the blood splatter, the gore, if you will, was all done in black and white, so you couldn't really define it.
Similar to how like Hitchcock did it with Psycho.
Yep.
Make it a little more palatable for the audience. But overall, I thought it was pretty fun. I thought the actors, the actors were campy in a very old school monster movie way. Personally, I need more Ted in my life.
Need more Ted.
Yeah. Ted, or as he's known in the MCU, the Man Thing.
When I was watching it and he grabbed the werewolf guy, I lost my shit. I went, "It's Man Thing."
It was kind of spoiled for me. I read about it. I saw something about it on like the internet, and I'm like, Man Thing, what the hell is he going to do in this film? And then like once he was introduced, I was like, awesome. That was perfect. That was such a great way to introduce that character.
He's been introduced before. I'm not seen, but spoken of.
He was spoken of in
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Was it Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? They mentioned him,
and his face was carved in on Ragnarok.
No. Oh, he was one of the champions.
Yeah, one of the champions. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. So the movie stars Gael Garcia Bernal, who's a pretty popular Latino actor. He was in an Amazon show called Mozart in the Jungle. That's kind of like his first foray into American, cinema.
What character does he play? The werewolf, right? What's the werewolf?
He's the werewolf. The werewolf's real name is Jack Russell, which is a pretty interesting name.
Jack Russell Terrier, huh?
Jack. First off, he's got a Spanish accent. That doesn't scream Jack Russell to me. And I'm wondering if that was like an inside joke because he's technically a dog. But he was good. He's actually friends with Diego Luna, who plays Andor. Cassian Andor.
Oh, okay.
And when he was approached by the MCU to possibly star in this feature, it was Diego Luna who like kind of convinced him to do it. Probably told him, "Hey, Disney money.
Yeah,
you'll be good. You'll be good to go.
Just bank it and
invest. If it's any good, they could do a recurring thing every Halloween with him."
I know, and I think, and we'll get to that when we talk about like the MCU connection.
Yeah.
But I don't know the actress, Laura Donnelly. She's Elsa Bloodstone. She was the one that's the daughter of the character who they're celebrating at the beginning. She was on Outlander, which I know is a pretty popular show on Showtime, but I've never really watched it. And she's currently on a show called The Nevers that's currently on HBO Max. But otherwise, I really don't know much about her. But she was, I liked her. I actually, at first, I thought it was the actress who played Jessica Jones.
A lot
like her.
I saw that online, before I watched the show, and they showed the two of them next to each other. I'm like, no, they don't look that quite similar. You see
Maybe,
it in the
when
black and white. I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that does look like her.
I say, maybe when you actually see the actresses next to each other, they don't look as much alike. But like, just like, especially like when she's first introduced, she really
Yeah.
looks a lot like Jessica Jones.
She did.
The next actress, main actor in this, is Harriet Sampson Harris, who plays Veruza. That's the older woman who was married to the character that passed away that they are celebrating. And I'm like, I saw this woman somewhere before, and it was driving me nuts. Like, I know I
You've
saw
seen
this
her
person before.
often before, yeah.
Yeah, she's in a lot of things. She's a character actor, so she's been in a lot of things. But the thing that I remember her from most, and it's because I just recently finished rewatching the series, was Frasier.
Yeah,
Kelsey
yep.
Grammer.
She
was his agent. Yeah,
Yeah.
his agent BB.
Yep,
And I'm
yep.
like, holy shit, that's who that was. So it was interesting to see her in this. The next guy is interesting. Kirk Thatcher. He's the big burly guy. Looks like the guy from Braveheart.
Scottish.
So no, he's not really an actor. He's only done a few actual acting roles. I looked him up on IMDb because I was curious. He's mainly a guy that works behind the scenes in visual effects and actually worked for the Henson Company and worked on a number of the Muppet specials.
He was special effects in Return of the Jedi.
He was special effects in Return of the Jedi, and he was a producer. He was a producer for, oh, what was it now? It was something like, I couldn't believe that this guy was like a producer on this film. I gotta find it now.
That's Star Trek 4, huh?
Star Trek 4. Yeah, he was the producer of Star Trek 4. The Voyage Home. The one with whales.
Yep.
So I thought that was like really interesting. Like he
directed the Muppets Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, he's not an actor per se. He's an Emmy winner for outstanding children's program when he worked on Muppets Tonight.
Oh wow.
So he has a very like thin acting filmography, but expansive in other areas, which is it's pretty interesting. So I like, because I checked a lot of this stuff out before, coming into it tonight because I was curious. So he was on a couple Star Trek shows. He was on the Star Trek Picard series. He did some of the voices on the Dinosaurs TV series from the 90s.
Oh yeah.
Not the mama.
He was the punk on the street in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, I can't say I remember the punk on the street too well.
No.
But yeah, so yeah, it's a lot of a cool little side things. The rest of the actors are no one like really well known.
Whoa, wait a minute. Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, he was the punk on the bus.
Yeah, he's the guy. He's the guy that Spock gives the nerve pinch to. Yeah, but he also was an associate producer on the film.
Yes.
I don't know. I think I've seen David Silverman before.
I mean, some of these guys I'm sure are.
I mean, he plays a mean flaming tuba.
Yeah, it's the flaming tuba. I saw that and I'm like, the flaming tuba, and then I rewatched it and I saw the guy come out with the tuba on fire, and I was like, holy shit, it is a
flaming tuba.
There is a dude playing a flaming tuba.
That's what I want at my birthday, a flaming tuba.
A flaming tuba. That's what's going to be the name of my band.
Carrie Jones, tubas. The guy that played Ted.
Yeah.
Also played our favorite Wookiee in Boba Fett.
Oh, he was Karsten?
Yep, Black Karsten. Yeah,
Karsten. Oh, wow. So he was probably like the stand-in actor for the Man Thing, because obviously the Man Thing is CGI.
Yes.
That was CGI?
Yeah. Sorry to disappoint you. It's not a Guillermo del Toro film. They didn't have a guy in a costume.
I expected Doug Jones.
He's mostly known for makeup. It's a makeup guy.
Yeah, he's a makeup guy. The TV show was directed by Michael Giacchino, who this is his first time directing something.
He's a composer, isn't he?
He's a composer. He wrote the scores for Doctor Strange, Thor: Love and Thunder. He's also he won an Academy Award too for one of his compositions. I don't know. I gotta look it up because I don't remember what it was. But yeah, he's been a composer for most of his career. He won the best score for the Pixar film Up.
Oh,
Yeah, he
That
wrote
was a nice
that.
score. Yeah.
So this was his first film as a director.
His first foray into
Yeah.
into directing.
So I'm guessing it was kind of like, okay, well, we're giving you this short little 55-minute special. See what you can do with it. And I thought he did a good job. I really enjoyed it. It's the MCU's first Halloween special, so I'm assuming there's going to be more. I know they're doing a Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. In December. So like you said, Kev, it was given the black and white filters in order to avoid the TVMA rating.
He couldn't afford the color. It's just Marvel.
Yeah, I think it's still got like a TV 14 rating because it is pretty violent.
It was pretty violent, but it was very.
I had to use my code to get into my adult Disney account.
I had to. I covered my eyes but peeked through my fingers.
It had some funny moments, some odd moments.
Oh yeah, I love where what was her name, Elsa. Elsa is
Elsa
she comes right. She comes across and she's like terrified, but she goes, Ted, and his eyes go, ooh.
Yeah,
like his eyes just kind of open up.
Says,
like, you know my name?
You have a beautiful name. Your friend went that way.
I like where Ted comes up, saves her. He's like,
yeah.
That way he was.
or Jack Russell sniffing her.
How often does that? How many times has that worked?
Once. So yeah, this is the first on-screen appearance for the Man-Thing, better known as Ted. But he was mentioned in dialogue in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. by Maria Hill. And you were right, he was one of the Grandmaster's Palace plates on Thor Ragnarok, one of the champions on the front of the palace. This is the first Marvel project to be given an MA 15 plus rating in Australia.
Ooh. Because 15 is the age of adulthood in Australia.
In the comic books, the Werewolf by Night and Man-Thing were members of the Legion of Monsters, which also included Morbius and Ghost Rider.
Oh man, I hope they don't include them. Well, I hope they don't include Morbius, and if they rework Ghost Rider, I'm okay with it.
I know that Werewolf by Night at one point was a member of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well.
Yeah.
In the comics, yeah. It's one of the few things I knew about the character. Here you go, Kev, the Flaming Tuba. David Silverman, who plays the Flaming Tuba, is a longtime director of the Simpsons TV series.
Yes.
He does a cameo in this film with the Flaming Tuba, a talent he actually possesses in real life. How one comes to learn that they have a talent for playing the Flaming Tuba, I don't know. In the comics, the character of Elsa Bloodstone has similarities to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She actually has some like actual powers in the comic books.
Okay.
And then Somewhere Over the Rainbow from The Wizard of Oz plays as the movie shifts from black and white to color.
Yes.
It's the same effect that was used in The Wizard of Oz. So that's just a little bit of trivia from the film. So some things that I liked, as I said already, I really liked the Universal monster atmosphere that it has, even from when the title sequence opens up at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
The Werewolf by Night title sequence looks like one of the old school ones. It's, even though it has the grainy speckled like 35 millimeter look, it was filmed with modern day digital technology. It was just a black and white filter that was added in later, which is why the Bloodstone is red throughout the entire show.
Right.
Which also kind of reminded me a little bit of WandaVision.
Yeah.
There was like
the
red was always popping up in the black and white episodes, and then it transitioned to color at one point. So is the Bloodstone the new Infinity Stone? I hope the fact that they introduced it in this makes me think it's going to come up again later at some point.
So I hope not. I'm really kind of hoping that they take this and make it its own thing. I don't need another crossover. I'm okay with the crossovers they've started and some of the ones they want to continue to do, but I think the monsters should be their own thing.
The problem is they have Blade coming out, and that's going to cross over with it at some point. It will, because Blade's in that universe.
Blade and the Black Knight, and then
Yep.
the werewolf and the man thing, and all probably all cross over at some point. And I know they're probably going to be bringing back Ghost Rider. There was talk.
No.
There was talk of I think Ryan Gosling said that he's interested in playing the role.
Give it to Keanu Reeves.
I would love to see Keanu.
I would love to see it.
Keanu said he would do it as well if they asked him.
Mm-hmm.
I love the old school makeup look of the werewolf.
Oh yeah, the old.
Yeah, it's the very like Lon Chaney sort of werewolf look, and
that.
The first time you see him, they do like a real slow zoom in on his face, and it's pretty cool. I kind of like that. And so my hot take after all is said and done is that I need more Man Thing in my life.
One thing I want to point out, well, not point out, but then something that I was amused by, tickled by, if you will, when the deceased Bloodstone is
Ulysses.
the recording, they got a crank on the side, and it's like, it kind of opens up like.
Yeah, it looks like one of the old like wax figure like things that you would see at like the amusement parks and shit.
Yeah, like a Nickelodeon or something. You are all here because you are the best. I
like when the woman's saying he was a friend, he was a mentor, he was a lover like none I've ever known, and the girl goes. And I was like, yeah, but BB, you had sex with Frasier. Wasn't he okay? So yeah, I need more Man Thing. I just want to keep saying that because it sounds so wrong.
Too bad we're not doing on
Glip.
Man's Thing.
Glip would be like, there's a lot of talk of man things. So where do you think this fits in the current phase of the MCU, or is it just a one-off?
At the moment, I think it's just a one-off and maybe a yearly thing.
Okay.
But at some point, they might cross some of the characters over with, like I said, with Blade.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm really kind of hoping that. I mean, I don't know. I guess the crossovers are okay. It's just like to have something separate that you can enjoy, like its own Marvel universe, that just focuses on the monsters and things like that, like a dark universe. I would be okay with that too.
And as much as I said I'd like to see more of Ted, I don't know where a character like that would fit into the structure right now.
Yeah.
Other than something like with Blade or something along those lines. Like I don't see him becoming an Avenger.
No.
How do you think it compares to the other Disney Plus MCU series so far? Like right now, I would say WandaVision is probably the best one still.
Loki was very good too.
Loki. I think Loki's probably the best one, followed by WandaVision. Mm-hmm. I like the Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Okay, mm-hmm. She-Hulk was all right. I haven't seen Miss Marvel yet. I know you guys have both watched it.
I see this as a standalone. This is just, this was a movie. This was a 1 hour horror flick, just like the old 1930s, and on its own, it's great. And what they may or may not do with it down the road, might be good, but I don't want to put it in with the series. If I'm thinking of the series, I'm thinking like Loki, like you said, I'm thinking WandaVision. I think those are my two favorites, though. I know She-Hulk, it's different, but I really appreciated it.
Moon Knight was pretty good too.
Moon Knight was very good. Yeah.
I say if they did any more like this, like one-off special presentations, then you'd have something to compare it to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope that's what I would hope they would do another one-off next Halloween.
I wouldn't mind like a one-off like every season or something, or like something like during like a as long as it's like a character that doesn't fit somewhere else,
right? So
like you could do like a Christmas one-off thing, or like I don't know, a summertime one-off thing or something like that with those characters that just don't fit anywhere else, like Man Thing and the werewolf and all.
Mm-hmm.
So general question, what do you think of the state of the MCU so far right now? I'm a little confused by it because, you have your series and then you have the movies coming out, and then some of the series are being turned into movies now because they don't think they're going to work as a series. And
I think they're in flux.
What's that?
I think they're in a flux.
Yeah.
They're trying. They still have to finish off what they were started with. With all the uh, season 3, phase 4, phase 5s.
Yeah.
But they're trying to bring in some new characters because they need new blood since they lost like almost all their main heroes.
Yeah.
So they're kind of in a flux area right now until they can get another steady group.
Right. And they also, I mean, with Loki and Doctor Strange and Spider-Man with the multiverse, you open a lot of doors. Nothing there are no restrictions. You can, you can do different movies of the same superhero, and it's the Andrew Garfield movie that everyone was waiting for. But we also have Tom Holland in another one, and you can have that kind of going simultaneously as long as you identify that the universes are different. And sometimes the crossover works.
So technically, Phase 4 was Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, No Way Home, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse, and Phase 4 ended with Thor: Love and Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
So Phase 5, as far as the films go, begins with Wakanda Forever, which I really want to see. I'm kind of curious to see where they go with that.
Which they're bringing Namor in. So
bringing Namor in, they're going to introduce the new Black Panther, which is going to be one of the female characters, most likely Shuri, I think.
Yes.
But I kind of want to see how they handle the whole thing with Chadwick Boseman, the way they're planning on handling it in the film. Then you got Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I usually look at the Ant-Man films as like palate cleansers, but this one's supposed to introduce Kang.
Oh.
Or the variant of Kang that's going to be like the new big bad.
Right.
So, because the variant of Kang that we got in Loki is not the evil variant. It's he's the one warning them about the evil variant.
Mm-hmm.
So we're supposed to be getting that in Quantumania. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 comes out in May.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting like a lot coming out at once because it's February is Ant-Man, May is Guardians, Wakanda Forever comes out next month. The Marvels comes out in July. So that'll be Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, and
Thunderbolt Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
No, what's her name? Rambo.
Rambo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Captain America: New World Order, May 2024. So that'll be the first movie with Falcon.
Yeah,
Captain America.
Right.
There's a large gap between the Marvels and Captain America.
I know, and this is still Phase 5 because then you got the Thunderbolts.
Did you guys hear who they got for
Harrison
Thunderbolt
Ford?
Ross?
Yeah, Harrison Ford's going to play Thunderbolt Ross. That'll be an interesting one, I think, because that's sort of like the MCU version of the Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
Blade is not supposed to go out to September 6, 2024. I mean, it's like so far out. It feels like it's so far out, and then it'll
It's
roll
2
up.
years from today, essentially.
Before you know it'll like roll up on us.
Yeah.
Supposedly,
we'll be older.
Supposedly, Deadpool 3 will be coming out November 8th, 2024, and that's possibly the beginning of Phase 6.
With the X-Men,
which will bring in Deadpool 3, which will bring in Wolverine, which will bring in Fantastic Four following that. Then Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, May 2nd, 2025. So they're introducing Kang. That's a slow burn. Yeah, they're introducing Kang in Quantumania.
mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing he's going to be like this specter of evil in the background until the new Avenger films come out, because it's kind of like what they did with Thanos, where he's kind of always in the background.
Yeah.
Or being introduced. And then the Avengers film should be your new Avengers. Plus, somewhere in there, there's supposed to be like a young Avengers thing, with like Kate Bishop and Yelena Belova and all them.
Yep.
They have an untitled movie for November 7th, 2025. I don't know what the
X-Men.
untitled film is.
X-Men.
Avengers Secret Wars.
I thought they were having one come out just called The Mutants.
Yeah. And then you got Avengers Secret Wars, and then Armor Wars was supposed to be a series, but now is going to be a film. And then for your series, we had WandaVision so far, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, What If. There's a What If season 2 coming out. Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, Secret Invasion, which I'm actually looking forward to. That looks really good.
Mhm.
So that's like the Nick Fury series.
Mhm.
Echo, Loki season 2 isn't coming out till this coming summer. Ironheart, which will introduce us to the new Iron Man character, which is the girl, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Daredevil Born Again is not going to be till spring 2024.
Ugh.
And again, they haven't announced the cast yet. All they've said is that it's Charlie Cox as Daredevil, D'Onofrio's coming back as Kingpin, but the rest of the cast has not been announced yet. So I'm really hoping they bring back the actor who played Foggy, and I'm hoping they bring back the actor who played the actress.
Karen Page.
Yeah,
Oh.
Karen Page. Deborah Ann Wall. And then
Hopefully,
Agatha.
bring Punisher back too.
Yeah, and Agatha Coven of Chaos, like winter 2023 to 24. You're gonna wait that long to reintroduce us to the villain from WandaVision?
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, Kev, there's like since you and I both watch She-Hulk, there's a conspiracy theory video on Instagram that I saw that the woman that's like her best friend and her assistant
Mhm.
is a character like Agatha, because there's a scene where she briefly looks at the camera
Oh, really?
and she's also wearing like stars and pendants and stuff that look similar to the ones that Agatha wears.
Mm.
So something to look out for.
Okay.
But yeah, so there's a lot going on with the MCU in the next few years. It's just, I mean, I'm wondering, like, by 2025, are people going to be so burnt out with it that it's not going to matter anymore?
No, because you're gonna have your diehard
diehards.
Marvel guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
But are diehards gonna make up for the?
So my question is, will DC finally get their act together and have
No.
something going by the time?
No.
I don't know if you believe the hype. Black Bolts or Black Adam's getting good reviews.
Yeah.
That's because it's The Rock.
Mike, you have any beer wisdom for us this evening?
I do. Beer is not the answer. It's the question. And the answer is yes.
Boy, that's very existential. I got to think about
That
that.
is.
I
I like that answer. It's a good answer.
What you got to say about your drinks this evening, gentlemen?
I think I like the second more than I like the first. The first one had too strong of a cinnamon taste included with the stout. And this one is a little bit lighter. And despite all the additional ingredients, it sits better. That's what I have to say about that.
Wasn't bad for a milk stout. I mean, not normally my type of beer, but
The Yards Oktoberfest is really good. It's one of the better Oktoberfests that I've had. I'm never usually disappointed with Yards anyway. So, and then the Iron Hill Brewery Pumpkin Ale is good. It's not as spice wafer spicy as the one we had at the Beer Fest, but does have a little bit of that like spice wafer flavor to it.
Is Iron Hill a local brewery? Like, I know that they have multiple branches, but are they based out of the area?
Their main branch is in Exton.
Okay, so they are. They're
main branch
local-ish.
Main branch is in Exton, but they do have a brewery attached to each of their restaurants. So
Yes.
Right.
Okay, so thank you everybody for joining us this week for episode 80, special look at the special presentation Werewolf by Night. We hope you enjoyed listening to this podcast as much as we enjoyed recording it for you. Don't forget to drop us a line at filmsoffermentation@gmail.com or visit Films of Fermentation at Linktree to see all of our social media and podcast links. Don't forget to stop by the crossroads between Pickled and Fermented next week as we present episode 81, the Halloween special. The Halloween special is going to be a look at the Universal monster movies. We're going to do a little recasting project in case, they ever decide to restart the Dark Universe and they ask for our help with it. And
they need our help with it.
We're hoping that the guys from Recast It 2.0 will be able to join us next week to help us with that endeavor.
I've caught up on the Dracula and Frankenstein and the Invisible Man. So what am I thinking? Wolfman, maybe the Mummy,
and
Creature from the Black
Black Lagoon.
Okay.
Yeah. we'll talk about this off air because I want to solidify the list with you guys. So
Okay.
I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
Thanks again, everybody, for joining us. Cheers.
Cheers. We got 4.